So, when we talk about strategic storytelling, I want you to think about one of your favorite movies or TV shows or books. Maybe it's something that you watched recently, or maybe it's a childhood favorite. What makes that story compelling? Most likely, it is the characters behind the story that drive that story forward. They're the ones that you relate to and empathize with, and they stand out in your memory because they change over time. They experience struggle and conflict, and over time they're changed and overcome that struggle. That is the foundation of a good story. It all starts with the characters. Next slide. Storytelling matters in marketing and communications because people really connect with other people. Humans connect with other humans more so than they connect with just brands or companies. Stories that revolve around human struggle and conflict resonate with us deeply because life isn't perfect. And so, someone going through some type of conflict and struggle and coming out of that resonates with us on a deep level as humans. And what I've seen work really well on social media isn't necessarily polished, perfect products or services, but instead authenticity, authentic people leaning into their personalities. Diving into someone's real struggle creates empathy and allows us to connect with others on a human level. And stories really do pull us into someone else's world and they help us put ourselves in their shoes, which ultimately builds trust. And a great example of this is Nike's partnership with Michael Jordan. The Air Jordan brand wasn't just about shoes, it embodied Jordan's story, which made it so powerful. And I've got this quote here at the bottom about facts and stories and how you really need to pair the facts that you want to communicate with an overall story. Research shows that facts are 22 times more likely to be remembered if they are part of a story. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. You can go to the next slide, Ariel. As communicators, we have to decide what stories to tell. And ideally, those stories will align with company goals, but they also need to resonate with your audience. This means knowing who your audience is and what resonates with them, what they find interesting. And often the stories that resonate with your audience are the same ones that resonate with you. So you need to find out what are you passionate about. And if you're passionate about the story that you're telling, your audience will be able to sense that. Another important consideration is the medium. How will that shape how you tell your story? Are you telling this story on YouTube, LinkedIn, your website, or maybe during a live event? Think about the format, whether you're doing a long form podcast format and then you break it up into different social media clips. You need to maximize the return on a single piece of content by repurposing it. At SER, we are focused on pairing facts with stories. For example, we can state the fact that solar projects create economic benefits for local communities. But unless we add a story, like interviewing local construction workers on site or the O&M techs that are working a solar or wind project day to day, or maybe we're interviewing local school superintendents when a wind project has been in a community for 15 years, is well established, and that property tax revenue is going primarily to local schools, also to the fire department, to the county fund. Those are real people that are benefiting from that money coming in. And so interviewing those people and finding out what that impact is, that way you can tell the facts that you want to communicate about your service or product through a story. And just real quick, an example here on repurposing content. I put an image here of Jerry Santos from Asiona. I've worked with him in the past. And, we did a video interview with a local landowner at a wind farm, and I got a lot of video content. And just kind of by chance, I captured one split-second frame of Jerry here. He wasn't really supposed to be too much a part of the video, but I did capture this image, and he repurposed that content, used it for social media, had a few paragraphs about his time chatting with the landowners. And so just a great example of using one opportunity, maximizing that, and repurposing and reposting with several pieces of content over time. Next slide. So one of my biggest inspirations in terms of just content creation and thinking about storytelling is Gary Vee. And 8 years ago, I watched one of his videos that he created called Document, Don't Create. And his message was that marketers often get paralyzed trying to create content from scratch, when instead we should document the real stories that are already happening all around us. And this was really a mindset shift for me. His advice was very simple, and it was really just get started. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Concerns about quality and polish can really hold you back from getting started. So just get started, and you will get better with time. Highly recommend you check out that video at a later time. It's called Document, Don't Create. It's very inspirational. Next slide. Okay, so just from my experience on social media, a few lessons have stood out over time. I see a lot of developers posting B-roll footage, maybe drone footage of your technology, and while that's great to highlight just some of these massive projects and very impressive, a lot of work went into them, and I'm sure you want to highlight the size, scale, scope of the work that's been put in. But without that human element, without that human story behind it, sometimes those videos can get quite stale. And so I would just encourage folks in the renewable energy industry to dive into the humans that are behind those projects and really trying to tell those human stories. If you're doing video content, you absolutely need to be including captions. Many people are, scrolling without the sound on. And so include captions in your video, just a very tangible tip here. Keep doing what works. So look at your metrics, find the content that resonates with your followers, your audience, and keep doing more of that. If you see a piece of content that is rising above the rest, dive into why that is working so well and follow on the same track. And then in terms of video, your hook, your first 3 seconds of your video is going to be super crucial, especially on social media. Like any good presentation or speech, you need to come out strong and hit them hard right out of the gate. And so that is going to be so critical in order to capture attention. Next slide. Okay, so just a little bit about me and my services. So again, I am a videographer in the clean energy space. I'm really passionate about filming, crafting narratives. I've produced landowner testimonials, employee highlights, filmed some ribbon cutting events. And if you are a renewable energy developer, you work for a company developing these types of projects, I would love to speak with you more about the services that I can provide and really focusing on crafting a narrative, not just capturing the event itself and creating a nice highlight, but also targeting what message you want to tell through that video and what message or story you want to communicate.